Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another episode of Newsbytes. And in the news today, Intel Z or XZ might be being cancelled, return of Crew Dragon and PS5 versus Xbox Series X controllers and more. All this will be after the intro, and of course, as always, timestamps will be in the description down below for those of you that want to just jump to certain parts. Alright, kicking off today, Intel XZ/Z, I'm just going to call Z because it's short for Xeon now. Anyway, Intel Z might be being cancelled. For a quick recap of those that aren't too aware, Intel's GPU department has been going under, well, quite a few turbulent changes. For one, Raj Kaduri, the head of the department itself, is more than likely going to be leaving according to some sources. We'll go ahead and leave links in the description for those. And on top of that, Arctic Sound and DG1, well, essentially nobody wants them. Intel are probably going to be selling, well, Arctic Sound as a version of XZ DG1, and it's supposedly going to be, well, losing some money on it. Whilst we don't know when Arctic Sound and DG1 are actually likely to drop, what we do know is that it's more than likely that the new architectures will be at some point showing up in Intel's upcoming Architecture Day, either, well, relatively soon or later on in the month. One last thing about DG1, even though it is practically being, well, just given away, it does have only a single laptop design that is currently known of. Not nearly fast enough to go ahead and justify it over Intel's own Tiger Lake, which is basically the same GPU, and the only one possible, Intel gave a discount on the CPU, a discount as large as 50%. Despite DG1 being a major move for the company, it seems that it's more than likely going to be either cancelled or just have an absolute lack of presence upon launch. Another move kicking Intel whilst it's down, Ponte Vecchio, aka Intel's own discrete graphics solutions, well, it's looking like it's actually going to be, well, completely dropped by Aurora. As being said, that apparently Argonne National Laboratory, the people that would be helping with the manufacturing, have actually been courted by either AMD or Nvidia, and therefore are actually somewhat likely to go ahead and, well, drop the Ponte Vecchio architecture altogether. Other problems include the fact that due to the recent 7nm delay at Intel with the CPU side, as well as the fact that the GPU component might actually be outsourced to TSMC, it is, well, currently forcing Argonne to have second thoughts about Ponte Vecchio. So, it's a bit interesting. Could be worse, could be better, we will find out as, well, the situation currently develops. Finally, some sources in Taiwan are claiming that Intel are actually planning to eventually cancel XZ and dissolve the entirety of the discrete graphics division. To be clear, this is the discrete graphics division. The integrated and laptop divisions, however, are not going to be dissolved. Specifically, it will be DG3, aka the HP and HPC market. Given the current delays of 7nm and other issues, the launch target of 2023, it's more than likely that 2023 could be the year that Intel's, well, foray into discrete graphics once more completely ends. And the main simple reason is down to money. Swan is he is by trade a financial manager, a bean counter, whatever you like to go ahead and call him, and from his perspective, he is more than likely just going to go ahead and cut that which is, of course, well, bringing in absolutely no margin for the highest possible cost. And so far, well, Arctic Sound and DG1 alone have gone ahead and sucked up some $500 million. However much DG3 has gone ahead and pulled up, we have got no current idea. But what we can tell is that it may possibly survive, but so far it's looking like actually may well be on the chopping block at Intel. Second time into their foray into discrete graphics. A slow and painful death. Better luck next time, I guess. See him in 3 to 4 years. And the next topic for today, return of Crew Dragon. Yes, on Sunday afternoon, Crew Dragon made the first splashdown in some 45 years. This also brought the end of a 9-year gap in spaceflight at NASA after, well, the absolutely extraordinary 64-day mission. The actual capsule, as well as a lot of the main components supplied by SpaceX, and of course operated by NASA during the mission itself with, of course, NASA astronauts. So yeah, they're finally back. 45 years since a splashdown. 9 years since NASA's done anything. Can you believe it? What we know is that as time goes on, it's going to be a lot more interesting, and hopefully we might go ahead and see some big strides being made once again. And for our last topic, or well, really more of a discussion for today, PS5 versus Series X. Now, there's been a couple of news bits that have come out in the past weeks. Specifically, PS4 controllers will not work with PS5 games, but they will work with PS5s. What this means is if you go ahead and bring a PS4 controller to a PS5 and you want to play a backwards compatible PS4 game, well, that's fine. But if you want to go ahead and then use the same controller to play a PS5 game, it's not going to be supported. Why this is currently happening, we're not too sure, honestly, but it looks like Sony is believing that, well, PS5 games should take full advantage of the new controller, and is essentially putting it down as an absolute requirement without really any budging room. It may change, it may not, but it's unlikely to, meaning that if you did buy a load of PS4 stuff and you want to go ahead and get onto the next gen, I really suggest that you go ahead and start trying to sell it now whilst it's still relatively easy to get rid of it. Because otherwise you're going to struggle, as of course, when people are buying all new accessories and everybody's trying to go ahead and get rid of their last gen stuff. But also related to this, Xbox Series X have made the announcement that all Xbox One controllers, and I do mean all third party and first party, so your Xbox Elite Wireless, Adaptive, official Xbox controllers, SCUF controllers, whatever, they will all be backwards compatible with Xbox One in all games. So in short, those of you that are on Xbox and are moving from Xbox One to Series X, well, you're in good luck because you're going to be able to take everything with you. You don't have to sell it if you don't want to, or you can for, getting some new, fancier, shinier controllers. But otherwise, it's looking pretty damn good to be an Xbox player. But however, there is a slight issue, and that is that, well, Marvel's upcoming Avengers game, well, it's been discovered that, well, if you wanted to play Spider-Man, you better get a PS5 because it is becoming a PS5 exclusive. Not the actual game itself, just the Spider-Man add-on, which means if you are a PC or Xbox player, or basically anywhere that runs with Microsoft, sorry to say it, but you're not going to be able to go ahead and play as Spider-Man. It is a kind of awkward move. I mean, I understand when you do get console exclusivity with a whole game title, but stuff like DLC, when people just, want to play as Spider-Man, in a superhero game, it seems like a bit of a low blow towards the consumer base. Personally, I don't believe that any company should go ahead and be doing moves like this, but it's what's happened. So I hate to break it to you, if you are looking forward to playing Spider-Man on Xbox next generation, you just won't have access to him. I hate to break it to you. And for the final bit of news for today, a new patent is hinting at a PS5 system with multiple SoCs. Essentially what this means is that there may be some PS5 design in the works that makes use of multiple chips. SoC, by the way, means system on a chip. Essentially it is the entirety of a system, CPU, USB controllers, etc., etc., all sitting on a single chip. AMD Ryzen currently does this as it is, and fun fact, you can actually run Ryzen in an A300 board which doesn't actually have a chipset, it just has a BIOS chip. But getting back to PS5. What this means is that there may be a PS5 design in the works with multiple chips, ensuring that essentially the PS5 could be scalable up and scalable down, meaning that if you want to, well, not so much if you want to, if Sony wants to, they could make a PS5 with literally just multiple CPU/GPU components, and just go ahead and scale it up and down regardless of what they want, meaning that in the future there may be a more powerful PS5 that is just a scaled up current version or a scaled down version. We currently don't know if anything is going to go ahead and come of this, or if it is just a patent. What we do know is that it is there, it does exist, and it could be a potentially interesting way to go about console design. Somewhat taking an approach similar to what AMD does when it comes to their server designs and Threadripper, as well as their desktop, creating a single SoC that is scalable up and down. It looks like essentially that is what they're trying to do. Alright, and that is the end of the news today, so let's go ahead and call the video here. Like the video, like it, dislike if you dislike. Sources to everything that was used for today will be found in the description down below. Don't forget to check out my Facebook, Patreon, Twitch, and of course a Discord page, all of which will be in the description down below. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more content from me, as always. This is the 117th Con, signing off. Stay safe, folks, and I will catch you all in the next one. Until next time, ta-ra.